Because prior to this, Leonardo's character is out in the wilderness.
Out in the wilderness.
He's discovered some things.
He's living with the wolves, man.
Yeah, he's discovered some things, and he's wandering out in the wilderness on this island, and he gets picked up by this warden played by Ted Levine, and it goes from a very realistic sort of well done shot and cuts straight to a vehicle ride that's obviously them just sitting stationary in front of a green screen. And then you have Ted Levine's character talking about some very interesting things, and it's almost like this, like a weird trippy dream sequence, but it's like if you're not paying attention to the editing, it doesn't necessarily register as a dream sequence.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite scene of the film, where you're following what's his name, Teddy? Yeah, you're following Teddy, and he's picked up by good old Ted Davine, actually, not
Davine.
Davine.
Oh, okay.
Who, I know him from the Monk series with Tony Shalhoub. He was Stottlemyre, the chieftain. As well, he was in the first Fast and Furious. He's an amazing character actor, great guy. I don't think I've ever seen him completely clean shaven. They always give him that dang mustache as a cop. But no, they were like, no, you're just going to clean as clean can be. And he looks creepy without that mustache. He looks weird. So I remember seeing him pick it up. I'm like, oh my God, it's Ted Davine. And then as we proceed through the scene, David, and the abysmal green screen effect. Like literally, they're driving down the forest, right, on the island, and like the background's going by them, and no difference in shading or lighting is happening to their faces. It's all super stationary. There are some reflections on the warden's cap, in the plastic of his cap, but that's about it. Like there's nothing else. It's like, if I would have to critique this movie, some of the like special effects are kind of but I don't really want to focus on that but it does take you out of this scene. But
I think it's intentional.
Really?
I think it's intentional.
It's intentional
because it's Martin Scorsese we're talking about.
Yeah.
And while there's certain parts in the film that are like a little questionable, shall we say, there's none that are quite so egregious as this. Because like even the parts where you can tell it's like, green screen or like a matte painting in the background, it's a little more seamless, a little more believable in other scenes. But this one is just a jarring cut from a very realistic wide angle shot of a forest to just like a close up of two guys obviously sitting stationary in front of a green screen with absolutely no work done to hide the fact that they're in front of a green screen. It's like in my mind, it has to be intentional because, like I said before, I think it's supposed to represent a kind of like almost like a dream sequence.
And I can also imagine that with the way I mean, I'm not a director, I'm not a movie maker, but however, I can imagine that it was probably a lot easier to film this than it would actually be in the forest, like to film the sequence. So I totally understand why they're doing it and everything. Like you can imagine the guys in the studio like rocking the Jeep back and forth as they're talking and stuff like that, to create the effect, which is cool. And it's also like an older effect too, which kind of gives you callback because, Martin Scorsese is a lover of cinema and he loves to, do stuff like that. Also, it's just smart looking at the way the production is. Like, hey, this is just a scene that we don't have to spend a whole lot of money on. We can just do it in here. And then we can have the actors focus and not have them be distracted by the environment they're in and just focus on that. And Ted Davine and Leo are just such amazing actors that they can just pull it off regardless. So you also have that as your benefit. But the scene, dude, I love the monologue that Ted Davine gives. I love the back and forth because and the refusal of Teddy's character to embrace the message that the warden is giving to him. And it's just, it's like talking to the devil and like a conversation with Satan. And it's like, it's basically like trying to get him to give into his inner demons or his inner like wants and faults. And it's just really beautifully written. and delivered, and it's awesome. God, I love the scene so much. It's probably the best scene in the film. It's funny how we jumped to it right away. But I also want to talk about Leo's character just a little bit here, because you have this guy who's like, he has all this weight and dynamics that are put upon him. And they're perfectly told to us at the right time. And some would probably say that they're delivered to us through exposition dumps at some point by him and by Mark Ruffalo's character, who's his martial partner. But these expedition dumps are, I would say, realistic. And the writing is smart in the way it handles it, too. The fact that he's having PSD from his experience in World War II, the atrocities he's seen on duty, his dead wife, his aspirations for finding the arsonist who's responsible for his wife's passing. All this taken into account, he's now on an island where he has to come face to face with his, like literally his own demons, as well as stare into the souls of those that have succumbed to their own. People who could be natural mirror images of possible outcomes of where his mind is headed. And like in the opening, like on the opening of the movie, he's on the ship, he's got seasickness, he's in the bathroom throwing up, and then he goes out to Mark Ruffalo's character and they just talk and kind of get to know each other because they don't know each other going into this situation and the reason why they're going to the island. What did you think of Mark Ruffalo in this film and Leo's character going the back and forth in their relationship?
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, I think he was a perfect foil to Leo. They really sort of, even though the characters don't actually like know each other in the beginning of the movie, they have incredible like on-screen chemistry, and the way they work together and kind of go back and forth. It's yeah, I really enjoyed that dynamic of it.
And this, I could be wrong. This is the second film Scorsese and Leo did together at this point, because they did The Aviator, which was, I don't remember what year that was, but I can't remember if he did another one with Leo before this. I don't know. Or if this is the second one, because you have The Aviator, which is a fine movie. You have Shutter Island, and then you have Wolf of Wall Street, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. But him and Scorsese are awesome together. Like with this, with Wolf. God, I love Wolf of Wall Street so much. Have you seen that, David, at all?
No, I have not.
Oh man, it's for the audience out there. It's one of the like most well-earned rated R movies I've probably ever seen in terms of content. But it is one of the most entertaining films I think I've ever seen in my life. Just at the pacing, the editing. I believe Thelma Schoonmaker as well as Scorsese team up again for that film. They always collaborate together. And Leo just brings like everything. He's just so incredibly talented, as well as Jonah Hill and Margot Robbie and all these kind of people. So, and it's like, I won't talk about it anymore. We're here to talk about Shutter Island, but I just love Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe we'll talk about that again one day.
So actually, just to
clear the air. So this, so you have, this is, Shutter Island is actually the third in a series of 3 films with DiCaprio. So you have 2004, The Aviator, 2006, The Departed. Oh, The Departed.
And then Shutter Island in 2010. And the movie before The Aviator was Gangs of New York, but that was Daniel Day-Lewis, right?
Yes.
Oh, no. It does have Daniel Day-Lewis, but it also has Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay.
So this is like
technically the 4th film.
This is quite the streak.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look through like Scorsese's filmography, I don't know how much have you seen of his filmography, David, but I mean, pretty much every single one's pretty dang good film.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I've seen the majority of his films, but I've seen a few of them, and I've seen bits and pieces of Taxi Driver. I've seen bits and pieces of Goodfellas. Then yeah, I've seen Gangs of New York, Aviator, Departed, Shutter Island. I think that is about it.